Welcome students. So, we are in the process of learning about the marginal costing as one of the important technique used in the say management decision making. So, in the previous class I was just talking to you about the introductory part of the marginal costing and how it is useful in taking the strategic decisions in case of the difficult market situations. Maybe it is a competitive situation, or maybe it is entry of an existing firm in the new market, or introducing a new product in the existing market. So, we can take the help of marginal costing. I explained that how the marginal costing affects, and what do we mean by the marginal costing, that basically this is the the technique of the cost based upon or dividing it into variable cost and the fixed cost. First we try to recover the variable cost, and then we try to recover the fixed cost, and if both are recoverable from the selling price, then we add up some margin, right. Now we will talk about the next part, that is the applications of the marginal costing, where it can be used, how it can be used, what are the different areas of the management decision making where the marginal costing can be a useful technique or the useful tool. There are these are the four basic techniques or the basic decision making areas. Cost control is the one, right. This is the one, is the cost control, right. Second one is the profit planning, and third one is the evaluation of the performance, and the fourth one is the decision making. Different type of decisions can be taken. Cost control. When you talk about the cost control, I told you that we calculate the cost of production under this technique of costing by dividing it into two parts, variable cost and the fixed cost. You will agree with me that fixed cost is normally not controllable. To a certain level of performance, fixed cost remains fixed, but yes, variable cost is controllable. Variable cost is controllable. In the previous classes, when we were talking about the standard costing, there also we were talking about the controlling the variable cost. We discussed different type of the variances, material variance, labor variance and overhead variances, and all those variances were linked to the direct cost or the variable cost. So, for example, if we have to control the cost of the production, in case of say for example the stiff competition in the market, or because of the influx of any new competitor, very strong competitor in the market, now you cannot sell the product at a price which we were selling in the previous say period of time when there was a less competition or almost no competition. Now when there is a competition, you have to sell the product at a very competitive price, so that you are able to retain the market base or to further increase it. So again, when you have to control the cost, you will bifurcate the cost into two parts, variable cost and the fixed cost, and will focus upon that what are the components of the variable cost which can be worth controlling the cost. We will focus upon the material cost, then we will focus upon the labor cost, and then we will focus upon the other overheads cost. I told you in the while talking about the standard costing that the material cost is 50 to 60%, and if you want to control the cost of the production, you should learn how to manage the material properly, and even 5 to 10% reduction in the cost of material leads to say reduction in the, say you can call it as the cost of the product by a significant amount. For example, even the 60% cost is of the material, and say total cost of the product is 10 rupees, it means 6 rupees is the cost of material, right. And if you even control the 10% of it, you are able to bring 60 paisa less the cost. To bring it down by 60 paisa, it means now the cost of material can be 5 rupees and 40 paisa, and that 60 paisa either can be passed on to the customers by lowering down the selling price, or can be added to the margin of the firm. So you can increase the profits also, but here the first requirement of this technique of costing is the cost control, and by controlling the variable cost, the marginal cost, we can control the cost. Second is the profit planning. Now the profit planning, you see that you have different products you are manufacturing in any firm, A, B, C, D, 4 products for example we are manufacturing. Now we want to see that we want to earn a certain amount of the profit, say our profit should be somewhere 20% of the sales value. Now if you have the 4 products A, B, C and D, all the 4 products may not be equally profitable. Some may be more, some may be less. It may be possible that one of the 4 products is not profitable at all. We are selling it at no profit, no loss. That is at the break even point. And one product may be loss making. So, we have to now think about that if you want to maximize the profits of the firm, number one, you have to choose the product mix in a manner where all the 4 products, all the 3 products or all the 5 products are profit making products. How can you do that? We use one technique in the marginal costing which is called as PV ratio, profit to volume ratio. We will discuss that technique in detail after this basic foundation and the conceptual discussion. Profit to volume ratio. Profit to volume ratio, as the name indicates, helps us to understand the profitability or the profit potential of any product. We can say that if the profit has to be increased, whether there is any link between the volume and profit of that product or not. We increase the volume of the production of product A out of 4. Can you think that the profit of the company as a whole or the firm as a whole will also go up? So, which one is more profitable, which one is less profitable? We have to first use the contribution. What is contribution? I will talk to you in the later lectures. Very important concept in the marginal costing which we call as contribution. And apart from the contribution, we have to calculate the profit to volume ratio which is called as PV ratio. With the help of contribution, we try to find out that what is the gap between the selling price and the variable cost and how much is left to meet the fixed cost and to earn as a profit. So, that is called as contribution. Contribution of product A out of the 4 towards the total profitability of the firm. Similarly, we will calculate the profit to volume ratio. Any product which is having the per unit higher amount of the profit, if you increase the volume of production of that product, will it result into the higher profitability for the firm or not? So, with the help of contribution margins, with the help of PV ratios, we can evaluate the different products a firm is manufacturing and we can take a decision that the products which are contributing more towards the profitability and whose PV ratio is comparatively higher as compared to others, those products should be supported, should be strengthened, we should produce more, we should sell more of those products, and the products which are loss making, we should drop them and try to explore the possibilities about the products which are very least profit earning or selling at the break even point to improve their performance and to improve the profitability expected from those products. So, cost control, profit planning is possible with the help of marginal costing, and third important application is the evaluation of the performance. As I am telling you, evaluation of the performance can be, again we take the example of the 4 products a firm is manufacturing, and with the help of contribution, with the help of PV ratio. Now, if you look at the total sales value or the selling price, variable cost and fixed cost of the product, the data which is available with us, we may, if you look at that data with regard to these 4 products, with naked eyes we can say that yes, product A is more profitable, product B is less profitable, product C is say moderately profitable, and product D needs to be dropped out. But when you use the marginal costing technique and we use the different kind of the analytical tools available under this technique, as I told you, contribution margin, then you talk about break even point analysis, we talk about the PV ratio. So, then we come to know that out of the 4, which one is the better performer, which one is the worst performer, which ones are in between these two, which should be supported, which should be dropped, and whose performance is possible to be improved. So, this performance evaluation of the different products by a firm, about all the products being manufactured by the firm, the decisions can be taken and the marginal costing is very, very helpful. Then other different areas of decision making, there the marginal costing is very, very useful. Other different decision areas, there the marginal costing is very, very useful. What are those other decision areas? I have given here. fixation of the selling price, make or buy decision, key or limiting factor, effect of change in the selling price, and some other decision areas are like maintaining a desired level of profit, selection of suitable product mix, alternative methods of production, diversification of the products, closing down or suspending activities, alternative course of action, and level of activity planning. So, these are some of the other areas where marginal costing can be used as a technique in the management decision making. For example, now I will discuss these points in a summarized manner one by one. Fixation of selling price. Now, when you talk about the selling price, fixation of the selling price, how do we do it? Selling price we fix by dividing the total cost into variable cost and then the fixed cost. And then for example, if we see that variable cost of any product is for example 8 rupees, fixed cost is 2 rupees. So, it means our cost of production is 10 rupees. We have divided it into, and now what is the possible selling price in the market? You can position your product in the market for 13 to 15 rupees. If you position it for 13 rupees, so your profit is going to be 3 rupees, and if you are going to position this for 15 rupees, your profit is going to be 5 rupees. Now, the decision you have to take is about fixing the selling price, that in the marketing we have the two kind of the marketing policies, market skimming policy and the market penetration policy. If you want to penetrate in the market, then what is the way? We fix up the selling price in a way that we keep the selling price comparatively lesser as compared to our competitors, and per unit margin, per unit profit kept is lesser, and if you that way work out the selling price, so variable cost plus fixed cost plus margin of 3 rupees will give you the selling price of 13 rupees, not 15 rupees. May be possible that your competitors are selling it for 14 rupees or 15 rupees. If the firm X which we are talking about is selling for 13 rupees, may be possible that more customers are inclined towards the product of this firm. So, their market penetration policy says that you earn the same amount of profit. What is the targeted profit? For example, the targeted amount of profit is say 10,000 rupees per month. Now, this 10,000 rupees per month you can achieve in two manners: by earning lesser amount of the profit per unit, but selling more number of units in the market, so that ultimately you can attain the target of 10,000 rupees per month profit. Second could be that we will not sell for 13 rupees, we will sell for 15 rupees and our margin will be 50%, that is 5% of the cost of production. We know that that is going to affect us market position or the position with the customers, but by earning 2 rupees more profit as compared to firm X and by selling lesser number of unit, again we are going to end up earning the same amount of the profit, that is 10,000 rupees. So, that depends upon the marketing philosophy, marketing strategy of the firms. So, in this case when you talk about that fixation of the selling price, you have to divide your total costing structure into two levels and then adding up the desired amount of margin. So, you can easily find out my variable cost is this, my fixed cost is this, and my profit should be this. And if some reason you have to change the selling price, reduce the selling price, you easily know I can control my variable cost and you will focus upon that. So, marginal costing, because it bifurcates the total cost into variable and fixed cost, we are in a position to find out which is the area where we can try and we can attempt and we can think of reducing the overall cost of production. Sometime we will be reducing our profits also. You can fix up the lesser selling price in a stiff competitive situation. If there is no such competitive situation in the market, even then we should be able to know my variable cost first should be recoverable, my fixed cost should be recoverable, and if the market is very convenient and say favorable, then you can recover as much as profit possible. So, in both ways we can decide the selling price in a competitive situation also and in a normal situation also. Then the next one is make or buy decision. Sometimes what happens, we are manufacturing for example 4 products, right, A, B, C and D. A, B manufacture, we are the best manufacturers in the market, we manufacture at the lowest cost. B also we are the manufacturer, best manufacturer, C also we are the best manufacturer, but D is doubtful. Now there are two possibilities. We manufacture D, we sell D under own brand name. But when we did a market analysis, we found out that as far as the product D is concerned, it is being manufactured by other manufacturers in the market at a very lesser cost as compared to what we are incurring to manufacture the product, the cost of manufacturing the product D. A, we are efficient one, B, we are efficient most, C, we are efficient most. But in case of the D, if this information comes to the mind of management, that rather than manufacturing it ourselves, if we buy it from the market as a ready-made and sell it under our own brand name, then I think we can earn more profits. So make or buy decision. This is the one example. Second could be that, for example, we are manufacturing one product and that product is say product A, right, and this is the assembly of 4 components, 1, then it is 2, then it is 3 and it is 4, right. 1 and 2 are the components which nobody else can manufacture for us, they are technology based. So we will manufacture 1 and 2, but the component 3 and 4, if you outsource the manufacturing of these, you can get them manufactured at a lesser cost without taking the hassle of manufacturing ourselves. So we will buy 1 and 2, we will buy 3 and 4 from the market as made, and finally we will assemble all 4 and convert into the finished product. So many a time either a full product can be bought from the market and sold under our own brand name, one idea. Second could be that if you are requiring 4 components to manufacture the finished unit, you can manufacture first 2 and remaining 2 can be bought as ready-made from the market, because the efficiency of some other manufacturer is much higher as compared to we as a firm, and they can supply us the product at a much lesser cost as compared to the cost at which we manufacture the product. For example, I give you the help of these car manufacturing companies, Suzuki Motors, Maruti Suzuki Motors. Suzuki Motors manufactures gearbox itself, that is the basic technology with the company. Nobody else can manufacture the gearbox for Maruti or Suzuki. But as far as the other parts are concerned, you talk about steel, you talk about the glasses, you talk about the say rubber part, you talk about the seat covers, you talk about the tires. It may be possible that Maruti can manufacture all these products in-house. While manufacturing the cars, they can start manufacturing the window pans also, front screen also, windscreen also, and some other inputs. But that is not the core area of the business of Suzuki Motors. Suzuki Motor is known for their own product, and the efficiency of the product depends upon the gearbox, quality of the gearbox. Gearbox company is manufacturing itself. Others are outsourced, and as per the specification of Suzuki Motors, others manufacture these products for Suzuki, they buy it ready-made, assemble all these products and they create a car. It is possible that Suzuki can manufacture all the sub-components, but it is not useful for them, and they have to make a decision that gearbox fine we are manufacturing. But for example, now window pans and windscreen front, if they start manufacturing it themselves, what is the cost? If they buy it ready-made from the market, what is the cost? And if the buying price is lesser as compared to the manufacturing price, so we can easily take a decision in favor of buying it ready-made from the market rather than manufacturing it. So again, the analysis will depend upon the variable cost and the fixed cost, and finally fixing up the buying or selling price. Key or limiting factor. What is a limiting factor? First you understand. For example, you talk about the power. In India we face the power problem. It may be possible that a unit located in an area where the power supply is not for the 24 hours. We want to run the plant for 24 hours, but it is not possible because the electricity supplying company is supplying it for 18 hours a day. Now this becomes a limiting factor. Similarly, raw material could be a limiting factor. You want to manufacture the n number of units, demand is there in the market, but you cannot because availability of that particular type of material is very less. So now if there is some key or limiting factor, you have to use that limiting factor or key factor in a way that production of those products will be maximum by using that power for 18 hours, whose PV ratio is the comparatively higher as compared to the other ones. We are manufacturing product A, B, C and D. A and B are highly profit making products. Power is not available for 24 hours, it is for 18 hours a day. So, first you would like to use that power for manufacturing A and B products. Once their total demand is over, then you will think of going for C and then you will think of going for D, because power is available for lesser for 6 hours. So, that limiting factor has to be used in such a efficient manner that overall cost of production is under control, and we are able to manufacture those products by using that limiting factor, which are highly profit making for us and contribute towards the profitability of the firm. Effect of changes in the selling price. If you change the selling price, what is the effect of that? And how can you change the selling price? By reducing the cost, by controlling the cost. Variable cost controlling is possible, but sometime we have already controlled it. Fixed cost is not possible. So, in that case, either you can increase the production so that fixed cost per unit comes down, or still you look for the possibilities of reducing the material, labor or the overhead cost. So, means as I told you many times, cost is the basis of fixing the selling price. Cost is the basis of fixing the selling price. And if you want to fix up a competitive selling price, you have to become very, very efficient in managing your cost. And managing the cost is best possible under the marginal costing, because you know how much is the variable cost, which is a controllable component of the total cost, and you will focus upon that and you will like to control it. Then is the maintaining a desired level of profits. As I told you that you are manufacturing 4 products, A, B, C and D. Out of these 4 products, which one is more profitable? Support that. Which one is less profitable? Support that. Or you follow the market penetration policy, that will be much better. You earn lesser profit per unit, but if you serve the larger segment of the market, your desired level of the profit can also be attained, as compared to when you sell the product as a premium product in the market, earn a higher amount of the profit by selling the lesser number of units, reaching to the lesser number of customers. Both ways it is possible, but the first one will be better if you reduce the cost of production, reach up to the larger segment of the market, people, customers, and you earn the desired amount of the profit by following the market penetration policy, and marginal costing makes it happen. Selection of suitable product mix. I gave you the example of A, B, C, D, E. You are manufacturing 5 products, or you can manufacture 5 products. Which one, or out of these 5, there must be 2-3 important factors. There is a limiting factor, power is a limiting factor. There might be the cost is a limiting factor. So, out of the 5 possible products which we can manufacture, we will have to select a suitable product mix, which ultimately helps us to maximize the contribution towards the profitability and having the potential of earning the higher PV ratio. So, out of the possible 5 products which we can manufacture, we would like to go for those products which are having the greater profit potential and which can be the best, considered as the best products of the firm, and marginal costing helps in that. Alternative method of production, different technologies, different costs. Under one technology, this is a variable cost, this is a fixed cost. Under another technology, this is a variable cost, this is a fixed cost. Now you know that this is my variable cost, this is my fixed cost. You can fix up or find out the alternative methods of production, and here just by bifurcating the cost into 2, variable and fixed, we can easily control or find out the alternative methods of production. Diversification of the products. You are manufacturing 1, 2, 3 products. Now we can diversify it also. Sometimes what happens that there is a stiff competition in the market, or expected to come up a stiff competition in the market. I will give you an example that Anchor, you must have heard about, is a company which manufactures the electrical products, right, switches, boards, wires, all that. Now this company, earlier it was an Indian company, but now it is taken over by the Panasonic. This company, when in the say end of 90s, around 2000, they visualized, they anticipated that after liberalization of Indian economy, many efficient players like General Electric and other companies are expected to enter the Indian market. And their position as a player, as a manufacturer of the electrical equipments in the market may not be very comfortable in the time to come. And there is every likelihood that they can lose the market in favor of the multinational giants. So if they lose the market because of the stiff competition, then which are the other areas they can think of diversifying, so that overall profit of the group as a whole remains the same or keeps on going up. They refer the matter to different consultants, and consultants told them that apart from electrical products, Anchor can manufacture different consumer products, so that the lost part of the market in the electrical segment can be made good in the other areas by properly diversifying it. Then Anchor diversified to the different consumer products like toothbrushes, toothpaste. They tried to introduce the fruit beer also, but couldn't succeed in the market. So ultimately the purpose is diversification is also possible and has to be done by the different companies, and diversification is going to be based upon the profit potential of the new products, or the controlling the cost and serving the market in the best possible way. So different companies think of diversifying if they find out that their conventional area of the business is not going to be very favorable and not continuing to be very favorable for them, sustainable for them. Then how to take a decision about introducing the new products or diversifying into new areas, marginal costing can help. Closing down or suspending some activity. I told you already we are manufacturing 4 products. D1 is not giving us the right amount of profit. Evaluate it properly, calculate contribution, calculate PB ratio, and then try to make sure that out of the 4, which one is having the least contribution towards the profitability and whose PB ratio is the lowest. You drop that, so that remaining 3 products can be strengthened in the market and the profit can be improved. So closing down and suspending of the activities is possible. Another is alternative course of action, evaluating the different cost structures of the different course of actions, different methods of productions, and contributing or calculating the contributions available from the different methods of production. You can decide which one is the method can be supported, which can be avoided, and level of activity planning. A will be manufactured 10,000 units, B also will be manufactured 10,000 units because they are mass products. They are the standard products of the firm, they are the mass products. Manufacturing process is very simple and the firm has a complete, you can call it expertise in manufacturing those A and B. But C and D are the new products added in the series. So we will have to produce them less and produce more of A and B. So activity planning can be done, level of activity planning can be done looking at the profit potential, looking at the contribution of any product towards the profitability, and then taking the decision accordingly. So all these decision making areas are very practical ones, and this all has become possible after inventing the technique of marginal costing, where we divide the total cost into the variable cost and the marginal cost. Now in this class finally I will take you to a comparison between the 2 costing techniques. One is the absorption costing system, which is you call it as the total costing system, and the second one is the marginal costing system. Absorption costing system is based upon the absorption of the variable and the fixed cost, and the cost which is determined on the basis of the absorption of the different variable and fixed costs is known as the absorption costing system or the total costing system. And marginal costing has been invented when it is not possible to recover the total cost from the market. So we bifurcate into two, variable and fixed. First we try to recover the variable cost. If it is possible, then we try to recover the fixed cost, and then we think of earning the profits. So what is the basic difference between the two techniques? Point number 1, absorption costing method is dependent on the level of output. Hence, different unit costs are obtained for the different levels of output. Why? Because element of the fixed cost is there in the absorption costing. If you increase the level of production, if the volume of production goes up, variable cost per unit remains the same, but fixed cost comes down, because it has a inverse relationship with the volume, fixed cost per unit. So, because total cost is considered, so if you are not able to manufacture the sizable amount of the volume, you are not able to sometimes sustain in the market. Absorption costing is not very helpful in taking managerial decisions such as suitable product mix, make or buy, accept any order, export order or not, choice of alternatives, minimum price to be fixed in recession or competition, number of units to be sold to earn the desired amount of the profit. Minimum price to be fixed in a competitive situation is most possible by using the concept of marginal costing. Lastly, valuation of the closing stock is also different. Valuation of the closing stock is also different. In valuation of the closing stock, what is different? First thing of the difference is that when you calculate the closing stock, you work out the closing stock. Under absorption costing, you take into consideration both the cost, fixed cost also and the variable cost also. But under the marginal costing, you bifurcate the cost into the variable cost and into the fixed cost, and because of that, both the value of the opening stock as well as the closing stock gets down. Contrary to this, valuation of the opening stock and the closing stock under the absorption costing system goes higher, and there is a difference in the profit potential or the profitability of the products. How that can be done, how it is possible, and how the profit is affected by the closing stock or the valuation of the closing stock, that I will discuss with you in the next class. Thank you very much.